Good morning, everyone. This is Sister Scala, a proud daughter of St. Markian soil, if I can say it like that. The role that the church has played in my life is immeasurable, even up to this very point that I am in. So many foundational values, so many principles, so many experiences, so many things that I have thus applied to my personal life. And I thank God for that every day. I recall when I was going into tertiary education to pursue my degree in English. And of course, those who know would understand that a big part of university life is presentations, endless presentations. And when I tell you the way my colleagues and teachers were amazed at how well I presented myself without fright, my speech was clear, I was able to read off script. I am here to let you all know that my exposure in St. Mark's, my exposure to leadership, my exposure to participating in church activities was the major reason that I was able to achieve that. So I thank God every day. I always tell people I live in the East, but my heart is down there. I am a hill girl for sure. And I thank God for the work that St. Mark's and its members have contributed to my life daily. So on this day where we talk about coming back, where we talk about keeping connections and staying the path of Christ, may we always remember to continue to hold on, even if it's the very hem of his garments. Blessings.
Growing up in St. Mark's helped me to shape the person, the man that I am today. I believe that the people I met, lovely folks from kindergarten all the way up to the time my family and I left the country, helped shape the religious values, the moral values, the perceptions of life, and a life with and without Christ and what it looks like is like. I believe that growing up in the choir, in this doing sign language, learning under the tutelage of so many of our Sabbath school teachers, and having such a huge village of individuals who ensured that my mom, as a single parent, was supported in more ways than one. I thank God for the blessing of St. Mark's, and I wish you all a really blessed homecoming.
You know, recently I was having a conversation with some brethren, and they were telling me about the decline in church when it comes to church attendance, especially after the pandemic. My name is Nadia, and I attended St. Mark's in 1986, September of 1986. And how I remember the church at that time, the church was coming through a sort of conflict. We entered there with the genesis of a conflict that was about to take place to rock our world. There was a group that wanted to create a division in the church. And it threatened what they did. They went behind young people at first. And my siblings, we just came from Princestown Church because we moved to Laventille. And they were attacking they were targeting, I shouldn't say attacking, they were targeting the young people. And my siblings picked it up, Sandy and Sheldon. Sheldon is now deceased, a victim of the COVID pandemic. But they they got that drilling first from Princeton. When they attended St. Mark's, they picked up the sort of discrepancies that they were teaching to the young people. That it was like a Bible group. So they went to my father, who was an elder in Princeton, and when he moved to St. Mark's, he became an elder there as well. It was almost automatic. Because the beautiful thing about being Seventh-day Adventist, no matter which part of the world you go to Iraq, and you amongst some Adventists there, the same thing, the same beliefs, and probably the same structure as well. All right, so I never went to Iraq, so but I know they have the same beliefs. That's the beauty of Seventh-day Adventists. You're on the same page. And they picked it up and they came to my father and said, Daddy, so and so the case. And he brought it to the attention of the eldership. And from there, cover blown, the bacchanal took place, if I can say that way. All right? And it was very challenging. The pastor at that time was Pastor Sanderson. And he tried to handle it the best way he could. And then came Pastor Paul. Pastor Paul he died a few years ago, but at that time, Pastor Paul was a dynamic, strong pastor. The elder was Brother Edwards, a good steward, and he was replaced by my father, Nathaniel Tusse. Nathaniel Tusse and Pastor Paul, it was like a perfect storm. They were able to contain that situation and deal with it before it grew, because it was actually growing. That ministry was actually growing because it went beyond St. Mark's and was spreading. But the containment, here was ground zero. St. Mark's was ground zero. And then the rebuilding process took place. And St. Mark's dealt with that well. They took charge of the young people. They had books. And the programs encouraged learning. So what I learned in Princeton was like the primary school, probably secondary school. But I knew a lot coming from Princeton. But when I attended St. Mark's, I learned even more. The people were humble people, but they love knowledge. And if you realize the young people who came out from St. Mark's after, who is doctor, who well-to-do public servants, the job seems to be a job of service. They are instrumental not only in St. Mark's but to the wider society on a whole, and some of them at an international level as well. All right. But growing up in St. Mark's was really a pleasure. There are so many people that added to my life and guided me throughout the years. Sister Joan, I must say, Sister Joan came like a second mother to me, and I would not have reached where I reached in my life probably without the guidance of Sister Joan. I need more Sister Joans in the world, and probably would have young people going astray. All right. There are so many things I want to say, but I know the time is limited. But I still remember the preschool that my father helped found in this church in St. Mark's. It was one of the top preschools in the country. And it was really a pleasure being a member of St. Mark's. I keep praying for this church that it keeps growing from strength to strength. And when you leave, you go off into other places, you realize not all churches have that special blessing, that fellowship that St. Mark's Church have. And I think it has something to do with that challenge that I mentioned earlier, where we learn to appreciate each other. That spirit continued throughout. We appreciated each other. And I only hope for the best with St. Mark's, that you all keep on growing and developing and keep on encouraging your young people. All right? You all take care, and I love you all. Thank you.